Certification basically is a process of assessing compliance to a particular standard or a set of guidelines. So certification is very, very important. My name is Neji Emmanuel, and I'm the General Manager at Nicert Group. I'm a lead auditor for several international standards, including organic certification, global GAP, fair trade certification, food safety certifications, and also a number of management system certifications. Certification is a process. We always like to tell people, make people understand that certification is a process. It's not just a destination. And the process that leads to certification is what we call conformity assessment. So the process of conformity assessment is what I'm going to be explaining within this session, just to help you understand what the certification process entails. But before we dive into that, it's also important for you to understand why certification is important in the first place. Why is certification necessary? Certification is necessary for a number of reasons, for many reasons actually, but I'm going to be mentioning quite a few of them. The first reason why certification is necessary is certification helps to demonstrate compliance with a set guideline or a given regulation. So in other words, certification is proof that one has actually complied with the requirement of a regulation. Another reason certification is important is that certification helps to build trust in the market space. Certification helps build trust in the market space. Third reason why certification is important is that certification gives access to wider markets. So if you're looking at accessing a wider market audience, certification is definitely one tool that can help you achieve that objective. Just to mention a few, there are of course several other reasons why certification is important. Now let's look at the certification process. In other words, the conformity assessment process. Let's look at what the journey entails. The certification process basically comprises of a number of steps. The first thing that happens in the certification process is the application. The application step is the point where a company that is interested in certification applies to the certification body for certification. So this is the point where you fill an application form to indicate interest that you want to obtain certification, say organic certification or whatever certification you want to obtain. The second step in the certification process is what we call the application review. The application review. So when you apply for certification, that application is reviewed, and at this step, a quotation is also prepared, is also generated for certification. In other words, the certification fees is generated. And then the third thing that also happens at this step of application review is that when the quotation is prepared, that quote is shared with you alongside what is called the services agreement or the contract commitment of the certification body. So basically that contains the technical terms and conditions which you have to agree to prior to continuing in the certification process. When that is done, the third critical step in the certification process is the initial documentary review. The initial documentary review is the step in the process where documentation are required from you, are requested from you for an initial review that is done at the office level. For management systems certification, this is what we call the stage 1 audit, right? So before on-site audit. So after the initial documentary review, the next thing that happens is the on-site audit. So this is the point where an auditor is sent by the certification body to come to your facility to audit your operation. And the essence of the on-site audit is basically to assess how compliant your system, your processes are when placed side by side with the requirements of the regulation that you are trying to comply with. At the end of an on-site audit, the next thing that happens, which is the fifth step, is what we call the certification review and decision. So an audit report is shared with the certification office, and a certification decision officer reviews that audit report. On the basis of the findings from that audit, a certification decision is taken. Oftentimes, there is need to share corrective actions And this is especially when there are findings raised in the course of the audit. After certification decision is taken, the last thing that happens is what we call the monitoring. That's the surveillance. So it is not once certified, always certified. Every year, there has to be some sort of monitoring, surveillance audits, as well as other strategies that certification bodies use to check continuous compliance, to ensure that you are still complying with the requirements of the regulations. In a nutshell, this is what the certification process entails, from application to application review, to initial documentary review, then to the on-site audit, then certification review and decision, and then continuous monitoring to ensure that you comply. We are always here for you at Nicert to support you on your certification journey and to help you gain access to that lucrative market that you are hoping to get into. See you at the top. Thank you.